Today, I'll be talking about the anime SK8 the Infinity by Studio Bones, and playing the Attack on Titan tribute game while we dive into compelling characters, friendship dynamics, impactful scenes, and more. Let's start with my first thought. I think the character with the most compelling character development in SK8 the Infinity is probably Reki, in my opinion. As I love the fact that he was the one who introduced Langa to skating to begin with, and taught him everything, and even introduced him to S, which, as we can tell from the anime, Langa really enjoyed that fact. The fact that he can participate in something so exhilarating. But despite that, much to Reki's dismay, him seeing Langa improve at a rapid rate, at which he can't keep up. And also the mindset that he's the one that taught Langa to skate to begin with, was actually really interesting and compelling to see. And seeing how Reki handles it throughout the show was really intriguing to see play out. Like seeing how Langa and Reki almost had a falling out in the later stages of the relationship when Reki almost gave up on skateboarding because of the fact that he wasn't as good as everyone else at it. So instead of a skill growth journey for Reki, it became more of an emotional development journey for him. So it was nice to see him overcome it in the show. Because at the end of the day, skating is still fun, and he still loves skating with friends, even if the skill levels is different. And I also love the fact that in the show he loses the his first match against Adam, and in the second match he doesn't beat Adam with talent or skill. He manages to defeat him with knowledge and strategy, which is something that Reki actually exceeds at. Because if he doesn't have talent, he definitely has the knowledge. So seeing him manage to almost beat Adam in that race, humiliating him, was a really, really nice payoff for his arc there as well. So yeah, in my opinion, I think Reki had the most compelling character development in SK8. So in general, I think Reki felt the most real for me in terms of character throughout that show. He was very relatable. He reminded me of Moomin Rider from One Punch Man, that's for sure. There we go. Oh, this also made me think about whether Reki was treated fairly by the story. Honestly, I'm kinda open enough that I don't mind a story treating characters unfairly if it pays off in the end. And in this case, the show did manage to pay off, I wanna say. I'm sure the characters kinda hyped up Langa a bit too much around Reki, which affected Reki's self-esteem when he overheard it, which kinda brought him down even further during his emotional arc. But like I said, as long as it pays off in the end, and to which it did, I didn't see any qualms in whether Reki was treated unfairly by the story or not. Now, if the story, if the story left Reki homeless by the end of it, then obviously I will say he was definitely not treated fairly at all. But I love the way that the show ended. And honestly, I think his arc ends like when he manages to defeat Adam, and it was really satisfying to see how he humiliated him in that race, even though he lost in the end. So on all accounts, I think Reki was treated quite fairly in the story. The only thing really is just that the story needed like a punching bag, and it's just unfortunate Reki was said punching bag this time round. Oh, and one question I wondered while watching is whether Adam is well written or just entertaining chaos. I want to say he's a mix of both. Because not only he is most definitely inspired by Hisoka from Hunter x Hunter, he's also, I want to say, definitely inspired by Dio Brando as well. Both of which are absolutely crazy characters in their respective shows. Yeah, I like how they balanced his backstory and trauma, to which it kind of extended to the unhealthy mindset that he has in the show itself. And I liked how the show, I like how the show tackled it and related it towards skating. But if I were to put Adam on a slider between well-written or just entertaining chaos, I want to say he leans a bit more towards entertaining chaos. I can tell both of the subbed and dubbed seiyus for Adam had a lot of fun with the character, especially with the dubbed one as well. we always know that Dio's voice actor always has a lot of fun in the roles that he plays with. Yeah, so if I had to choose one though, I would say Adam is more of an entertaining force of chaos. I was also intrigued at how how unique Langa's skating style was. Because there's a lot of like in SK8 Infinity, there was a whole lot of skateboard representation, which I was actually quite a big fan of. Because you have electric skateboarding represented through Cherry, cruiser skateboarding represented from Joe. Like he even has the shark wheels, which is like this weird square skateboard wheel that supposedly moves dirt and debris across instead of your wheels getting stuck on stones. Which I thought was pretty intriguing. And then you also have freestyle skateboarding, which is represented from Mia too. Oh yeah, and also there's longboard dancing, represented by Adam himself. All of those are existing methods and ways to enjoy skateboarding too. Which brings us to Langa, which is heavily unique by skateboarding standards. Because of the fact that his skateboard is modeled after a snowboard, you don't really see that kind of skateboard shape in real life. And it was also really cool to see how his snowboarding background had a hand in how well he skates and how quickly he got with the grips of the mechanics of skateboarding. And it was really cool to see how his emotional connection to snowboarding connected with his emotional connection with skateboarding too. And seeing someone use snowboarding tricks in a skateboard tournament was actually really interesting. And also it's just seeing like a snowboarding trick being represented in a show for skateboarding was actually quite intriguing, because I did not expect to see that kind of representation, because I didn't think there's a snowboarding anime out and about, I don't think. So seeing it tested out in this show first, it's actually quite intriguing. So yeah, by all accounts, I want to say Langa is pretty unique, all things considered, in terms of skating style and background. How did I miss that? Oh yeah, thinking about the dynamics between Langa and Reki, I want to say that their friendship dynamic was actually one of the strongest in the shows. Well, this is probably going to relate to when we talked about Reki from before, about his emotional development when it became to reaffirming his friendship with Langa after all the happenings throughout the show. But I do want to add that on Langa's end, he needed Reki to skate well, because he was the one that introduced him to skateboarding to begin with. Reki was the one that Langa wanted to skate with the most. And when Langa found out that Reki wasn't cheering him on during his race against Adam, the fire kind of fizzled out for Lango when it came to skating. So it's kind of cool to see that the friendship went both ways in that regard. It wasn't just Reki suffering. Then again, I suppose a lot of the friendships in this show are pretty strong. But then you have Cherry and Joe as well, who the dub voice actors for are all in for the shipping between the two too. Because seeing Joe and Cherry being at odds with each other throughout the show, when it came to skating, but outside of skating they're just friendly rivals. It was actually a really fun dynamic to watch as the show progressed. And seeing how much the two of them care for each other was also really nice to see as well. Especially when Adam used a full swing kiss on Cherry. And Joe was immediately worried for Cherry's well-being in that regard. It was actually quite the fun dynamic to watch play out. Despite what they say about each other, they're really good friends. Despite all the rivalries. So yeah, they were quite the strong friendship dynamic as well. Honestly, there's a lot of friendship dynamics in this show which are really strong. They all felt like quite authentic as well. Which brings me to my next thought. Whether SK8 the Infinity is more about skating or relationships. When I first heard about the show, I was more interested about the skating elements more than anything. I didn't really expect much in terms of the character development and whatnot. But when watching the show, I found that it tackled a whole load of things like emotional stakes, competition stakes, family themes and whatnot. And it was actually quite fun just to see how things all play out, alongside how skateboarding has a hand in the going-ons in the show. So I think it's relatively well balanced in terms of whether SK8 Infinity is more about skating or relationships. But at the end of the day, I think the relationships could have worked out if we chose a different sport. So maybe this show is more about the relationship the characters have over skating. But at the end of the day though, I want to say, at the very least, watching the show, you can tell that the directors and the creators definitely had people who actually skated to help with making the show. Because there's a whole load of neat little details that can only be spotted or like made if people who skated were also present when making the show. Like the one, like that one scene where Adam's dad burnt his skateboard in the oven, or that fire pit. You see that the deck was charred, the metal trucks were also charred, but the wheels themselves, instead of being charred, they actually melted in the scene, which I thought was a really neat detail. And you can see a lot of those details throughout the show as well. You actually use like the real branded or like real world branded trucks. Because I saw in one of the credits for the endings. Oh, when I say trucks, I mean like the hangers underneath the skateboards. Yeah, in the credits they had they put one of the skate brands, Paris trucks, which is actually one of the trucks I use for my skateboards. With the credits for the Paris trucks being there, they must have definitely used the trucks at some point in the episode. I couldn't spot it though. But it's cool that they actually got skate brand representation in the episode. They even got all the skateboard shapes right as well. Like Miyachinen's skateboard is actually a shape a freestyle skateboarder would actually use for their style of skating. I say, yeah, there is a lot of love with the skateboard element of the show, alongside the relationships and character developments. And honestly, SK8 Infinity works because those two aspects, the skating and the relationships, work so well together. So those are my thoughts on that one. Which brings me to my next thought in terms of the most emotionally impactful scene for me. Honestly, from the top of my head, when it comes to, for me choosing emotional scenes, I always go by the vibe as opposed to the writing and all that. Like, I think my favorite scenes in the show were the ones where Reki's theme plays during his moments. Like in the second battle against Adam. Because earlier in the series, like, no one knew who Reki was. Like, he was just known as the guy who just hangs out with Langa. And seeing his second match against Adam, people were expecting a bloodbath. And Reki was quite unsure on the match as well, because he was banking on a lot of factors to get an edge. And there was a lot of unsurety in that regard. But then, having been inspired by Langa, he takes a leap of faith and does an extremely dangerous maneuver that Langa does, that would do, like riding down a cliff onto a ramp to gain a significant height and lead against Adam, which is something past Reki wouldn't do, and he was really impressed that this is the view that Langa was seeing all the time. Seeing Reki's reaction to the way Langa sees the world was actually kind of impactful for me as well, I want to say. And the thing that made the scene even more fun was when Reki's theme, Seize the Moment, was playing. I don't know what it is about the song, it just had this hype feel about it, like an early 2000s song kind of thing. So yeah, so in terms of the most emotionally impactful scene, the scene where Reki gets the resolve to do the things he can almost do and have fun, that was fun. I'm sure that there's a bunch of there's multiple scenes that are emotionally impactful, such as the time the Reki and Langa reaffirmed their friendship at night in the skate park. Or when Reki formally became friends with Miyachinen. There's a load of scenes like that in this show. So another thought I had was how well Skate handled the themes of passion versus obsession. Because you can align that with a bunch of characters in the show. Like, we can tell that Adam is definitely obsessive about skating. Reki is very passionate about it. Because why else wouldn't he want to share that passion with Langa in the first place if he wasn't passionate? Langa, I want to say, he's kind of in the middle between the passion and obsession line of things. Beginning with, he was passionate about it, because he had a lot of fun with Reki when he picks up skateboarding. But in the latter halves of the show, when Reki makes a disappearance from the scene, the passion fizzled out. And what's left was the want to skate with Reki again. Which is kinda on the verge of obsession. Like, maybe in another universe, Langa could have become another Adam, hoping to one day find another Reki to skate with. And it was also a really cool moment when Langa was reminded of the passion to have fun skateboarding during his final beef against Adam. That during the race, he managed to help Adam remember what it was like to have passion over obsession during skateboarding. It was really cool to see just how it all plays out. It's like a passion versus obsession kind of thing. Especially when Reki skated against Adam throughout those times. Yeah, I want to say that this show balances it quite well. But if I were to change one major plot point in the show, honestly, there isn't much that I would want to change in the show, I don't think. Because because we have to remember, like, the show is only one season for now, and there is going to be another one at some point. And a lot of the things that I do want to see will probably be addressed or added in the second season. And in my opinion, I think the first season is great as is. There's not much I would add or remove or change. Everything worked out quite well. There's not much I would want to change in the show. Unless, of course, Season 2 gets absolutely botched, but we'll see how it goes. Oh no. Yeah, most of it seems to be like extra tidbits. Like, I would like to have seen more on maybe Reki's talent in the actual mechanics of skateboarding, seeing him build skateboards. Because I've built like so many skateboards myself. So much so. So maybe seeing more towards okay, I can't kill this thing. Let's take it easy. So maybe seeing more in terms of skateboard building from Reki might be something I would maybe add. But upon saying that, I do remember that Reki even built and improved upon Langa's skateboard multiple times. He was also the one that altered his skateboard to bear skate in the rain. So I think that the show more or less did what I desired already, I guess. So yeah, like I said, I probably wouldn't change much in the show, really. And one final thing, in terms of what I think makes SK8 the Infinity stand out from other sports anime, it's definitely the fact that it's the first major skateboarding anime. Sure, there have been characters in the past that can use a skateboard, like Yata Mizaki from K-Project, Detective Conan from, well, Detective Conan, Killua from Hunter x Hunter. But in those shows, the skateboarding wasn't the main focus, it was just an extra character tidbit, something that they can use. So seeing a sports anime where skateboarding is the primary focus, I think that's what makes SK8 Infinity stand out amongst all the other sports anime out there. Because what I find amusing about the skateboard elements of SK8 Infinity, that you could probably replace the skateboards with cars, because the way that they do the battles is essentially just a downhill road. You could replace the skateboard elements with cars, and there you have it. You got SK8 the Infinity, but initial D. So I want to say that the SK8 Infinity is a really safe skateboarding anime to make. I can't imagine if it failed. I don't want to imagine a universe where SK8 the Infinity failed as a skateboarding show. I'm just glad that the show actually popped off, because I'm looking forward to see what other shows come from its success, whether we'll have more skateboarding anime in the future. Oh wait, another thing that stands out to me is all the insert songs from that represent all the character songs that play during character moments. Because we have Adam's Behind the Mask, which is Adam's theme. It kind of has that religious feel to it. Then we have Reki's theme, Seize the Moment. which represents, I want to say, the 2000s culture or 90s culture, which skateboarding generally is the most popular during that time period. And Langa's theme, which I can't remember the title of, which has a very, I don't know, when I heard it way back when, it reminded me of Overlord's songs, which I just thought was pretty cool. But yeah, those are my thoughts for SK8 Infinity there. Please do share your thoughts as well in the comment section below, or absolutely roast my takes. It's always fun to see what other people think of the shows that I've watched as well. So I guess if you enjoyed this video here, be sure to hit like and subscribe as per usual, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.